I had this conversation with a family member, and I was trying to explain to them the benefit of that gift, and they just could not see it. To them, they were like, "Yeah, man, but they're doing well." Well, yeah, they're doing well, but you can always be doing better.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Even if that extra two, three, four, $500, $2,000, that's extra money disposable that you can invest in the market, that you can then, provide to your future offspring. You know what I mean? Like, I don't, again, I think we touched on this subject before when it comes about what wealth building looks like. And we still are not utilizing it even when we have the knowledge. You know what I mean? We sometimes have to step out of our selfish shell and realize that we're only on this planet for a very short period of time.
Yeah.
Right? Very short. Like what we're building and what I'm building is for my children's children. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah.
That's why it's so important for me to have my name on something that I can pass down. This is where you start talking about building a legacy. You know what I mean?
But for me, it's not the actual, like, my name isn't on any of my businesses. I'm not trying to pass down my name. I'm trying to pass down money so that my children can do what they want with their own name. My children will never probably want to own a consulting agency. Your kid will probably never want to do taxes and accounting. That's probably not going to be something. In fact, kids often run away. They actually run away from the things that their parents want. But I think I get so torn up about, like I had the conversation with Jess, I get so torn up because I have an opportunity to do something that was never feasible for my family, which is to leave a pension that will last them for the rest of their lives. And I'm so close to having it that I think about, is it selfish to try to go out there and get it on my own, which I probably can. When we run the numbers, we set our goals, our KPIs. Like, it's easy. We can probably get that, but it will be for me. It will not be. I cannot guarantee that will be generational wealth. I can guarantee that we will live comfortably. Me and my children will live comfortably right now, but I can't guarantee that they will have money coming in, irrespective if they ever go work for somebody. And I think that as Black people, we have reservations about starting businesses because we understand poverty. And in order to be a business owner, you have to be a risk taker. And it's hard for you to be a risk taker when you're thinking about where your food is coming from. It's easy. That's why people at TEP be knocking out business. They got a little hub. They go meet over there. They got little think pods. They throw out ideas like that. You know why? Because they got money to sit down and do that. You think we got money to sit down and brainstorm for a whole Saturday and Sunday?
Well, here's the funny thing about that too, though, Trish, because I got to push back on us understanding poverty, because a lot of the times the communities that come over here and they build businesses, I think, not to, compare struggles, but the situation.
They got a different. I mean, but they haven't faced the type of systemic oppression that we face. Like,
and I think that's what it is.
Yeah, we have multiple angles saying that you ain't gonna get that.
Exactly.
You want to be bigger than H&R Block? That ain't gonna happen.
Exactly. Right. Exactly. And I think it's right here. That's the demon that we fighting. Is like, to be honest.
Yeah.
Even though
it's part of it. Like, it's part of it.
Yeah, like even though they slightly cracked the door open in our minds because it's been closed for so many years.
Yeah,
we don't even look to check anymore. You know what I mean? Like we've been battered, beaten, and abused. That it's almost like we have Stockholm syndrome based on our captors. You know what I mean? Because even we're so
true.
To do it on our own, but we will jump to the oppressor and thrive in their situation without even realizing, damn, even if I can probably do this on my own. It's a jump, it's a leap, it's hard to take, even for me. Like, even though I didn't technically work for, a predominantly white institution, I worked with. Shoot, I might even work with in the future in my own capacity. You know what I mean? But there is a sense of pride that comes to know that even regardless of how they're giving you your check, they have to give it to my entity, something that I created. They have to provide that to me, and I'm not getting it third party or fourth or fifth party. You know what I mean?
And so, can I push back on that? Because this is a conversation that I think Justin and I had this week. Like, does it matter where the money is coming from if they both do the same thing in 120 years? let's say you are an MD. Let's say you are an MD. You clearing $300,000 a year. You don't own your own business. You don't own your own practice, but you're able to take that money and buy property. You're able to take that money and invest in the stock market, and your kids are going to live off of that money for the rest of their lives and their children's life. Does it matter where the money comes from, as long as it does the same thing, which is giving our children access to freedom?
Well,
but do you care if your name is on the building? I personally don't care if my name is on the building.
I do care. I do think it's a difference, and I'm gonna tell you why. Because when the money is given to you directly, it benefits you and just your family alone, right? But if you're able to create an economy around you, that helps your entire community, because now you're able to make decisions on who you hire, who are your employees, who do you bring under your wing, who do you further give that knowledge to? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because when you're working in the capacity of somebody else, it restricts you on what you can do. You know what I mean? I know people who get kicked out the door if they try to open their own thing and work with somebody else, or you got to do it on the hush hush. You can't be out there out in the open, you know, providing it like you want it under your own umbrella. You know what I mean? Because for me, like, I could be working for, you know what I mean, any one of these big four joints right now. You know what I mean? It's not going to be that difficult based on my experience, based on my, you know, knowledge, based on even working with them in the past and the relationships I have. You know, I know these guys, they're cool. But I know that if I do that with them, if they catch me doing what I'm doing, more than likely I won't be able to do that with them anymore. You know what I mean? There's a conflict of interest. Are you using our products to provide services to people?
Yeah,
you know what I mean? It's gonna open.
I get that, but I guess I'm not in the same boat. Like I feel like there's a lot of services in our country that will not benefit from having, will not benefit. Like I don't know. Maybe we can't all just open up our own schools and advocate for our own children, but then we pull away from resources. I know like the real ramification of like taking your funds and divesting from your schools, or taking your funds and moving to certain neighborhoods, which essentially divest from your schools. Like there, and then only the people that are capable financially are the ones that are able to make these elite Black schools, and we're gonna leave everybody else that's incapable of moving their funds and divesting from certain neighborhoods. So I think I know on both sides that is it practical? It's not always practical for everybody to be an entrepreneur. Would I love to see us doing more of it? Do I think that we can all take our money and do other things with it to generate wealth? Yes. And I think that's like my biggest fear. Like I'm in a role where I feel like I'm able to have a seat at the table and make impactful changes for people that look like me. And I don't take that lightly. But I also know that limits me, as you said, Chris, that limits me in terms of what I can do if somebody finds out that I do this work. Is it a conflict of interest because they believe that it should be this safe space where we don't talk about some of these controversial topics? And will they have an issue with me trying to tear down the fence when they're trying to maintain this system of operation, this system of oppression? So those are real risks that come with it. I'm okay with it.
What you feel, Just?
So me, I don't know. Like I think there were some great points made. I'm trying to remember all of them in order, but I'll just touch on this point. Chris, you made the point that when you are at one of those big fours, you know, me and you both have had experiences with them. And for me, like, I do think there is a difference between working for yourself and then working for somebody else and where that money comes from. And it's this, that like the ability for, like, for instance, when I was working for the big fours, their ability to take that away from me is always there. Like, whereas now me owning my own thing, like no one can ever take that. Like you can never stop food from being given to my children, or, you know, there being a roof over my family's head. Like I control that. And I think there is something to be said about that. Definitely. You know, that's, and I don't know if that's I know Trish made the point earlier, you know, that, you know, it's more so for yourself. And I don't know if it's one of those. For me, potentially it is.
Remember, just we had that conversation Like, is it ego or is it practicality? Like, does it matter at the end of the day if we do what we are made to do, which is make sure that our kids have access to things that we wouldn't even dream about having access to? Like, which one is it? Is it ego? Like, do I care if my name is on the banner, or do I care that my pension will leave a minimum of 70 to 100K for my child for the rest of their life?
Yeah,
so, like,
and I think me and you, we're definitely of the situation where I don't care if my name is on the, you know, on the paycheck or on the name or on the door. Like I don't care, as long as my children, my grandchildren, my great grandchildren are okay, are taken care of. That's all I care about. And but at the same, like I said, the only personal thing for me is that, like, that ability to know that, you know, as long as I get out there and put my shingle up, like they say in law, I can put my shingle up and go to work. And you know what I mean? I never have to worry about whether or not somebody's going to say something and it's not going to correlate with my beliefs or my ethics. And then I say something back and now they can take my security, my livelihood, which happens a lot of times with people that look like us, especially in those rooms that, you know, that I know we've all been in, you know what I mean? And that's one of the additional weights that we have on our shoulders, is that, you know what I mean? Like, when you look like us and you in those rooms, let's just be real, man. Like, it's not a safe space whatsoever. And you can't truly be yourself. And if I can't be myself, ever. And if I can't be myself, and it's a hard place to be. So I think for me personally, there was no option but for me to create my own thing. But I guess that's my point on it.
You have anything like Jamaican?
No, I think you guys pretty much hit most of the points that I would have made. Could just make a counter argument to say that at the end of the day, you know, just taking it from another angle, we're still carrying our oppressor's name. So even if you put your name on it, it's really not yours. I mean, for instance, it's definitely not a last name derived from Africa.
Yeah.
Nor is, you know. So I mean, honestly, I think you know, business is about making money, and it just goes back to what we talked about in a previous discussion. The challenge and the struggle for me is understanding that living in a capitalistic society, you're either gonna play the game or you're not, and it's really that simple. I'm not a capitalist at heart. I believe that there's things far more important and greater than money. We all operate in the business world, so the objective of business is to make money, and sometimes by any means necessary. So that's always going to be the struggle. It's one that, you know, I don't think any of us are willing to put our morals to the side to fully comply with it. But just got to continue on the basis that we currently on, I suppose.
Yeah.
Thank you.